How's it going, everyone? It's me back bringing a red Purple Uta video. I've had so many people ask me for this deck profile after last week on like almost every single one of the videos I posted with this deck. But yeah, let me just explain really quick that this leader is okay, but it can actually sneak some wins here and there. So trying to explain this is weird. So this deck is very consistent. It gets to 10 down super fast. The problem is there's nothing that you play at 10 that just wins you the game really quickly, because the deck lacks consistency. You run out of cards really quick, and you like I said, you get to 10 with nothing to do. So I decided that I wanted to make this deck be more consistent. The purple film engine isn't the most consistent, because you only get 4 searchers. But what if I told you I found another engine that actually gives you 4 more searchers, giving you 8, that actually feed your film engine to have your leader more consistent, like consistently ramp, also lets you get to 10 and have good search targets. That's what we're going to go over today. So if you guys didn't know what this leader does, it's you may trash 1 film card from your hand, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2k for the turn, then add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck rested. So it is a slower ramping deck, but you don't have to open, well, you do have to open, but you don't have to open your ramp every single time. So we'll just put her to the side. So we're going to start with the you know, the obvious stuff is the purple film engine. Let's put her on this side where there's a little more light, right there. So of course, well, like I said, we want to be as consistent as possible, so we'll start with the 2k counter / searcher for Bueno Festa. So this searches all your film cards, and if you want, you can actually trash it to ramp. You can also use it to counter out. Not bad. It's a very good card. Yeah. Another thing, the ratios here are kind of weird. So this is my blockers. I run 1 Shura because I don't know, I might bump him to 2. He just doesn't really come up that often when I play this deck. And then I have 2 of Barat. I don't know how to say her name. I just call her Backrat because it's kind of like that. Really good card. She's a blocker. Again, this is the blocker side. So she's a blocker that turns any card in your hand into a 2k. Any card, doesn't have to be film. Turns it into a 2k, and I like it because it helps you live, because you are a 4 life leader. And then I have 2 Uta because she's very good. On block minus a Dawn, you can rest one of your opponent's characters. Very good card to play, and the most important part is all of these can be added back off of your Guild Tesoro. So then we run 3 2k counter Saga. He's at 3 because that's just how it fits, but I might cut 1 to add another Shuryu, however you say his name. Might cut 1, add 1, might cut this, add another one of these. But yeah, this is just the rest of your 2k counters for your film engine. Then the card that helps you recycle everything is the Guild Tesoro. And so all in all, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that can be added back off of this. Alright, where was I? So yeah, this card lets you recycle everything from here down. Now we're going to get to the guest boss drops for the film engine. So this is the high end, and I'm actually going to do it backwards. So we're going to start with 2 10-cost Shanks. I really don't like this card. Every time I play him, I'm kind of just like, kind of sad that I used all 10 of my Dawn to play him. But I needed a big body to put at a very high end that can clear anything that's problematic. So he is very situational, because most of the time you don't want to use all 10 of your Dawn to play him. But I will say, you can combo these to pop 10 cost. So like, you can do both of these in one turn to pop a 10 cost. But most of the time I actually end up discarding him to ramp unless the matchup calls for it, aka like a yellow matchup where he's actually needed. But then like, the actual boss of the deck is Douglas Bullet. I was sleeping on this card for a long time. I always call him like Discount Hody, because he has Discount Hody plus Yamato. But think about it, he's Hody and Yamato in one card, so he's actually pretty good. He's the reason why I have a card in here that you'll see later, but it turns out I don't really need it. But he's very good. He once he's on the board, he's gonna spell the end of the game soon, and if you have him in hand, you can either trash him off of this blocker, or leader if you have too many, and he's not needed in every matchup, but in the matchups where he's needed, you can actually just take the matchup slower and bleed your opponent's hand dry, so that way you can hit him and it feels so strong. Like Lucci, for example, you can bleed them dry and just oh my gosh, Douglas Bullet is so good. Been sleeping on him for a while, but he's very good. Definitely recommend trying him. He's your first boss for the deck. Now we're gonna get into the other cards that are in the deck that are not engine related, and that is going to be the 5-cost Kid and the 5-cost Marco. So I actually wanted to bump this up to 1 and bump this down to 2. I don't know what I would replace this with yet, but this card is actually not as good in this deck as it is in other decks. You really don't minus every single turn with this deck. So him existing is kind of like whatever. I guess you could change out like these Marcos to be kings, and that way you do minus a Don to actually activate his effect, but king hits cost, so it doesn't actually combo with your leader, so it just doesn't feel as like needed. I don't know how to explain it, but the Marco is good. Love this Marco. Helps clear Rebecca blockers. Also, it just reoccurrence, because you do run some events in here, not all the time, but most of the time people are like, do I clear the Marco, do I not? So he does stick longer than he should sometimes, whether you have the revive or not. And this kid, I don't know, this kid is really good. This card is so good, but in this deck it just doesn't feel as like needed, if that makes sense. So now let's get into the other engine that like just merges everything together, and that is going to be the Straw Hat engine. So we run 3 Nami. I'm actually going to bump this up to 4, because after playing the deck and rereading some of these cards, this card is nuts. Like, this card does everything, searches everything, but she does bring spice to the deck. So I'll show you some cards here, and then I'll show you where the spice comes. So we have the Nico Robbins. This is to help with those 8-cost Moria turns. This deck really struggles to kill 3 bodies at once, so if you can at least play this, you can kill the Rebecca and then pressure their life with other things. I like to say, like, black has a board where it's Borsellino Rebecca. I'll pop this with I'll pop the Rebecca with Nico Robin and then minus down the Borsellino down to 4, so then it just feels better swinging in, because something is going to take a card out of the hand or they're going to lose 2 blockers. Then for your more grindy matchups, we play the Sanji. There's a lot of Namis, a lot of Rebecca practice with this deck, and this card is just irreplaceable. In any matchup that wants to stall you out and just keep you at your 4 life, needs it. Also, again, you run out of cards really fast because of this deck. Because of this leader's ability to discard all your film cards, you run out of cards. This will fill you back up and swing 7. Now here's some spice for you guys. This is probably very questionable, but this card has so much synergy with the deck, and it is the 4-cost Vanilla Luffy. This card can be added off of Guild Tesoro. It has film, it has Straw Hat, it can be discarded, it can be re-added, it can be searched off of Nami and Bueno Festa. It's a 6k 4-cost. I would make this literally any other card that was a higher stat line, but this is the highest 4-cost you can get that hits both. Yeah, so this card, I didn't even think this card was even that good until I realized that it can be searched off of the Nami. A lot of people were running the other films that are 4/6 to add off of Guild Tesoro, but this is just way better when you're running the Straw Hat package. To carry on with that, we run the Blocker Sanjis, 2k counter, and, you know, whenever you do lose all your Don, you can play him for 3. So you could go Douglas Bullet and end up playing this guy. You could go this card, 10-drop Luffy, and play this guy on your next turn. This 10-drop Luffy is another 10 cost that I decided to add. Very good. So you can actually go your 10 Don turn, you swing everything, play Luffy, then swing Uta, go to 1 rested. Pass turn, this comes rested, so now you're at 3 for the turn. You can go to 4, swing, go to 5, and now you're at 5 Don with 3 active. So again, if you have this Sanji, you can actually end your board like this, like that, and you're on 5 Don by the end of it, and then next turn you're going to 7, and you're basically at 10 at that point, right? Very, very good. So this Straw Hat engine actually has a lot of synergy with the film. because you can search your high end, you can search survival, and you can search these Luffys. That's not the only synergy it has with the deck. I will show you some more, starting with some of the events being the Blue Dragon Seal Water Stream. This event can be added off of Film and Straw Hat searchers. So again, you can search your removal. Super nice. Nami can search this. Buena Festa can search this. That's 3 removal spells. Then you get access to this with Nami, which is a great card. It's the reason why it was put at 1. Then you get the Gum Gum Jet Pistol, which is great. I only run it at 1 because it's not searchable off of both engines. And then we have the Straw Hat card, Gum Gum Jet Gatling. So all these can be searched off of Nami. These can be searched off of Nami and Gil Tesoro, which is great. Yeah, that being said, that's basically the whole deck list. The thoughts is, like, you want the most amount of film searchers in the deck. So you having this Nami actually be able to search 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can search 7 film cards off of this Nami, which means most of the time, if you don't already have a film card in hand, Nami can reach for one, which feels great. I know in my Nami game against the leader Nami, I ended up having so many of these Luffys that it was just so much to overwhelm, and he's searchable off of both engines, so I can always ramp and I can always play a big body no matter what. I think for the future of this deck, I am going to go more Straw Hat. I'm going to look at more Straw Hat film cards to see if I can fit them in here, but a lot of them are just green. But yeah, this deck is feeling really nice, very consistent right now. We just want our searchers to search. We want to not miss any searches. We want to keep our hand full as much as possible. Might end up adding like searching events, but it's only Seba Odie, so it's like not even that good. I mean, I guess like technically, I don't know. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for the deck, I am open ears. I would love to read your guys' comments. Again, thank you for everyone who did comment. If you guys liked, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see more of this leader. Peace. I'll always keep updating, by the way.